the body fat you can see is not the part that's harmful to your overall health.
What?
Losing weight is a natural goal. Most of us think about losing weight in terms of the number on a scale, or maybe the comfort of fitting into your clothing, or maybe how you look in the mirror, right? It's pretty crude. And it turns out that if you care about your health, if that's really your priority for losing weight, you want to burn down the kind of fat that you can't see. And fat that you can't see is not wiggly jiggly. It's actually located deep inside the tube of your body. Our bodies are really, if you stand up straight, and you were to do a scan across our body, it's like a tube there. And the really, really harmful body fat that expands is called visceral fat, and it wraps around our organs like a baseball glove. And when it grows, it expands everything inside the sac of the tube of your body, which is why your waistline increases, right? So the more visceral fat you have, the bigger your waistline has to be. That's different than the fat that's under your arm. Body fat isn't all just what we think it is, right? So look, we've all done it. You're taking a shower in the morning, you step out, you're drying yourself off, you're naked. Out of the corner of the eye, you look in the mirror and you see a lump or a bump that you didn't like to see.
Ugh, yes.
And you're like, ugh. But then you say like, man, I got to do something about this, right? Like
Yes.
it's a realization.
Yes.
But the body fat you can see is not the part that's harmful to your overall health.
What?
Okay. Because fat comes in two different types of fat. You've got white fat, which is what you can see, and you've got brown fat, which you can't see. But I got to explain a little bit further. The word fat immediately stimulates kind of this like negative reaction in our minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we've been trained in society. But there is a situation where body fat is actually good and it makes everyone smile. And you know when that is? Babies.
Yes, that's true. They're so cute.
When you see a big fat baby,
Yes.
pudgy,
Yes.
cute, you want to pinch its cheeks, all right? And big balloon-like arms and legs, everyone smiles. And that's how we know that fat can't be all bad. Right. In fact, if you saw a baby that had chiseled cheeks and long, thin arms and thighs, like a runway model.
Yeah, I'd be like, somebody call child services.
911,
yes.
right? Okay. So the fact of the matter is that our body fat is really, really important. It's actually releases hormones. It's one of the endocrine organs. Our body fat's actually an organ in our body.
Wait, your body fat is an organ?
Body fat's an organ. It actually produces hormones, and these fat-produced hormones actually help our body absorb blood glucose. So the fuel tank actually produces the stuff that our body needs to run the engine, glucose, so we have energy.
That's so cool.
All right? And in fact, one of these hormones is called adiponectin. Now, you might not have ever heard of adiponectin. Actually, a lot of doctors never heard of adiponectin. But what if I told you adiponectin works with insulin, and we know insulin basically helps your blood glucose, takes all that energy, and people talk about glucose spikes and high glucose and low glucose and insulin insensitivity. Look, insulin is the hormone that is made by your pancreas in order to be able to draw blood glucose into your muscles so you have energy,
Mm-hmm.
so you can run. If you've got problems with your insulin, that can lead to diabetes, right? But do you know that insulin can't do the job by itself very well? Insulin needs a partner. It is adiponectin is the hormone that insulin, which is made by fat, helps insulin do its job. Adiponectin is so important, by the way, that if I were to take a sample of your blood and send it to the lab and ask it to measure every hormone in your body, your adiponectin will be 1,000 times higher in amount than any other hormone in your body. 1,000. Tells you it's important. Fat made by body fat. So body fat actually is good. It actually helps us use our energy. If you have too much fat, guess what happens? The fat gets really, really big. It gets really, really inflamed. And now the hormone engine doesn't work anymore. You're not producing the right amount of adiponectin. Now insulin's not going to work very well. Now you're going to have a metabolic problem. Okay. And this is why overeating, especially low quality food, is so damaging to your body. But because it's all hardwired into us, if we take realize that we have the agency to be able to make those choices for better quality fuel and don't eat too much and get a little more active. Metabolism is how your body gets energy and burns down energy, just like if you were a car. Okay. Human metabolism is really about just putting fuel in your body.
Right.
Once you're done eating, okay, it's kind of like you've stopped filling up your tank. Now you're driving back on the road about your way, you're burning fuel. And that's what we do when we finish eating. We're loading up in the fuel. When we're finished, now we're burning the fuel. And basically, that's how we live day in and day out. That's how we work. And the quality of fuel actually matters. Now, I want to say one thing about besides quality of fuel,
Yep.
it's quantity of fuel. You fill up your tank, it's a metal tank, all right, and you fill it up. When the gasoline reaches a certain level, it'll force the nozzle to click and no more gas will come out.
Yep. I feel
All
like I don't have a click, Dr. Lee.
Okay. Well, imagine what would happen. And this is what used to be in the old days
Yeah.
with the filling stations, no click. What's going to happen? You're going to easily overfill your tank. If you're not paying attention, the tank's going to overflow. The gasoline comes right out of the car, runs down the side of the car, around the tires, and pools around your shoes.
Right.
And now you are standing in the midst of a dangerous, toxic, flammable mess.
Right.
Right? Okay. Now that's what happens at the gas station. At the dinner table or the pantry, or the drive-by convenience store. All right. If you don't actually control the amount of fuel that you put in your body, because we don't have a clicker, just as you said, we can keep filling it up. What happens is that our fuel tanks are our fat cells. Our metabolism uses body fat. Body fat's very, very important. It's healthy. We want our fat cells to be what they serve as our fuel tank. When you eat, you use some of the energy just to run around, but the rest of it is stored in the fuel tank, which is our fat cells. We call them adipose cells. Adipose tissue. And when you add up a lot of tiny little fat cells, you got a chunk of fat. Now, because we don't have a clicker, the more you eat, you're going to fill up your tank. Oh, you're still eating? Let's fill up another tank. Fill that one up. And by the way, each car is metal and fixed. It won't expand. Body fat cells can expand to 3 times, 300%. You can really blow up a fat cell with fuel, meaning food that you eat, up to 300%, like a balloon, like a water balloon. So now you're still eating. Let's blow up another one. Oh, you're still? Another one. One more piece of cake, one more second helping, another one. Oh, and by the way, once you run out of fat cells, guess what?
I don't
Your
know.
fuel tanks are set. Your body will look for stem cells to create brand new fat cells. And now you can keep on loading them up. And this can happen over the course of your whole life. Now, excess body fat in this situation is exactly the overfilling of your fuel tanks. So if you follow your hardwiring, if you fill up your tank only to what it's supposed to be and don't overflow, you will actually follow those 4 patterns. But how many people do you know who control their eating in a way that's mindful so you're not overflowing your fuel tank? And the reason I'm actually saying this is that, over the course of the year, you pick the holiday, all right?
Right.
You could talk about the winter holiday, any holiday you want. You're talking about the experience we've all had, which is sitting down with family and friends, incredible food in front of you, and what you want to do is fill that plate up and eat it and then go back for seconds.
Right.
Okay? And how many of us have felt this? You
Every
go back,
one of us.
You have 1 more or 2 more forkfuls after that second plate, and you're like, wait a minute. I shouldn't have done that. You know that you've actually overfilled your tank,
Absolutely.
right? That's like not the click, that's the leak. You're sitting in this toxic, flammable mess.
Yes.
And in fact, by the way, that extra fuel will indeed leak out of your fat cells eventually. And when I use the word flammable, it is very inflaming. So in other words, when you overeat too many calories, you blow up your body fat, it'll eventually, like a water balloon, like it can't hold anymore. It starts to leak out. And now you've got fat that leaks out all throughout your body. You know the organ that actually picks up all that fat?
No.
It's the liver. So you've heard of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
No, I hadn't.
That is a condition where you overeat. The fat flows out of your fat cells because they can't hold anymore. Like you've strained the storage capacity to the limit. The fat leaks out into your cells, gets trapped in your liver, and your liver becomes replaced by liver cells become replaced by fat. It is the number. It used to be alcohol and hepatitis that were the biggest causes of liver transplant.
Yeah.
Now livers are failing all around the country because of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So this is the silent epidemic. It's nasty.